It is the first week back at school for many students, but as classrooms opened their doors this morning, where were the teachers? The government announced last year it would begin a major push to recruit 1,500 more teachers by 2021, including hundreds from overseas. But as of today, the first day of term one, recruitment agencies are still trying to fill 280 teaching roles. Now that's despite the government hiring 220 teachers from overseas to help cover the shortage affecting schools across the country. Now, we sent our reporter Blake-Persen and cameraman Dan Cook along to one Auckland school to see how they're coping with the staffing crisis.
This is our staff room. This is the place that we've had a fair few farewells last year.
It's a new school year at Auckland's Balmoral School, but Principal Malcolm Milner says the problems remain the same.
14 farewells we had last year.
And that was more than ever before?
Yeah, that's a lot for us over the course. Although we do have 60 staff, 60 registered teachers, 14 is a lot for our school.
The Decile 9 school in central Auckland has a roll of around 900 students in years 1 to 8. Mr Milner says it's a great place to work, but the high cost of living and pressures of teaching mean his staff are leaving in droves.
One day I had 3 teachers come and tell me they were leaving, and the last one was crying, saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this to you, Malcolm."
He's had to scramble to find 2 teachers to fill classrooms until the end of term 1, but his search to find people to take those roles when they leave isn't going well.
So this is it?
Yeah, these are the two applicants I've had so far. I think it's like at least 4 weeks of advertisements. I mean, admittedly we've got some time to go. I think around about the 13th of February, but that's what I've got so far.
Mr Milner says he's constantly worried about how long teachers will stay and how he'll replace them when they leave.
I had to ask one of my teachers, so we had a retirement due for her, and then the next day I had to go to her and say, "Look, I know we farewelled you, but I need a teacher for these children for this term. Will you come back?" And, she was like, "Yeah, I'll do it for the children."
Last year, the government announced it was putting $370 million towards funding 1,500 more teachers by 2021. But as students return from summer holidays this week, there are estimated to be nearly 300 teaching jobs still vacant across the country.
Schools are being required to do more and more and more and more. And I think, tragically, it's a low-paid profession. It's a low-paid profession. And so it's not an option for those students in year 13 to go out. They can earn far more money at a higher paying profession. So we talk about a low-wage economy. We've got teaching a low-wage profession.
The Ministry for Education estimates that an extra 650 primary teachers and 200 secondary teachers are needed this year, adding to the country's pool of around 70,000 teachers. But keeping them here is a challenge.
I had a year 2 teacher last year resign and go to Hong Kong. He left his job here, 56,000. He's on 92,000 New Zealand dollars in Hong Kong at a school.
The ministry says it's managed to find 7,300 overseas teachers wanting to teach in New Zealand, of which 1,000 have been screened and are available for interviews. But Malcolm Milner says more money is needed to boost Kiwi recruits.
Look, if you're an employer and responsible and you couldn't get workers, what's the first thing you do in the private sector? You increase the wage to attract those people. I think we have all the rhetoric going on that teaching's important and it's important to us. But at the end of the day, you've got to attract people, and pay is an attraction.
Teachers have been in a pay dispute with the government since last year when hundreds striked over pay and working conditions. Primary and secondary teachers aren't ruling out joining forces to strike this year. In the meantime, Malcolm Milner is focused on filling the 2 positions he currently has advertised, but says it's slim pickings.
Both of them I have to go back for more information, because one person hasn't filled out the application pack, so it says CV, and I don't have the CV, so I'll need to find out more information. The other one, I've got a great CV. They've taught for 6 months overseas, but there's no teacher registration, so I don't know if they are registered to be able to teach.
The Education Minister Chris Hipkins says he's had talks with the Primary Teachers Union over the holidays, and he's told them the government won't increase the value of its current offer, which runs to $1.2 billion over 4 years. In Auckland for Checkpoint, Blake-Persen.